Understanding the different types of units in battle cats is integral to understanding how you want to develop a loadout. Want a loadout that can quickly get into enemies' personal space? Then go for some speed up cat combos and rushers like Awakened Bahamut or Courier. Or, do you want a loadout that's more safe and consistent? Then try some backliners and light tankers. But what even are light tankers? What are meat shields? Light tankers have specific attributes that make them not only what they are, but distinct from common meat shields. But I think it's important to clarify exactly what I mean by meat shield. First, we have to analyze one of the most common types of meat shields, the ones that die in one hit. This is your crazed cat or normal cat variants that are useful throughout the entirety of the game, and it's most likely what you're thinking of when you think of a meat shield. Usually their health is pitiful, which is why they die in one hit, but they have a 2-second cooldown and can be sent out for very cheap. Then we have your wall cats like your Racer or Crazy Racer, or any of those variants. These meat shields are a bit tougher than your normal cat variants, so they usually cost 150C, but retain that 2-second cooldown. These are just the most commonly used types of meat shields. Other ones like Jingashi, Lord forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce that. Most likely have their own gimmicks, like Jingashis. I'm just gonna say Jingashis. 100% chance to survive a lethal hit and good DPS for what he is while costing extra. Light tankers. Now that we know what meat shields are, we can correctly identify what exactly a light tanker is from their aforementioned different qualities, and we can also differentiate them from regular tankers. Most light tankers have a longer cooldown than the standard 2 seconds for one meat shield and a higher cost, but they have more health than them and usually some kind of strong against or resistance ability against the target, or otherwise just higher health than a lot of other regular units. Not enough to where you can comfortably depend on them to protect your cats though. What can be classified as a light tanker can be pretty broad, but for examples, I would say that cats like Maximum the Fighter and Ramen Cat are certainly light tankers, especially with their lower cooldowns which allow you to spam them like normal meat shields, if you have the correct cat combos. But at the same time, I would classify Neo Saw, Jamera, and Taurus as light tankers as well, because in most circumstances you can't depend on them to effectively protect your team for a notable amount of time. Or in the case of Taurus, you throw them out to regain some ground, and in the case of Neo Saw, you throw them out to deal massive damage against aliens, as the point isn't for him to tank massive amount of damage like Lumina or Cat Machine. When are they useful? Tankers and battle cats are sorta mid once you get higher levels outside of extreme specialist play. For example, in acute stages, the enemies have such high DPS that most tankers would get shredded, just like any light tanker before could have protected you for long, unless they have a trait advantage. Or in relic stages with similarly high DPS, they'd also strip your tanker of all their abilities unless they have a trait advantage in cursed immunity. So naturally this leaves light tankers in an awkward position because in general usage, if my Cat Machine MK3 is getting totally shredded, or even if it's getting shredded in stages where it's strong, why in the world would I ever use a lighter unit than it? But I have an answer for exactly when these cats are useful, and in one case it'd be in general loadouts. Why generalist? Well, that's because a generalist loadout is supposed to be the one that's ready for any stage, so why not throw a rogue cat into a generalist loadout? What if there are red enemies, or what if the enemies don't do enough DPS immediately to eradicate him? And possibly it could keep ground long enough to level up your cat wallet. Not to mention that rogue can basically be a tank if you invest into his talents and level him up a lot. And similarly, why not throw Ramen into a loadout for similar reasons? He has some high health and could get rid of some peons before the stage gets serious while buying extra time, as sometimes stalling is very important. And as I said earlier, specialist usage. Most of the best light tanks are specialists, and this is why general tanks like Jamera aren't that great, and light tanks are even better if they have specific purposes to fill. Like Turris knocking back a traitless enemy, Rogue weakening a red, Neo Saw shredding and breaking shields for a short while, or Meadow Macho being able to stall a slow attacking enemy. Usage. When you should throw a light tank out depends on what they can do and what's happening in the stage. If your normal meat shields are being absolutely wrecked, then it's probably not a good idea to throw out a light tank unless you're fighting aliens and the light tank in question is Neo Saw. Overall, I'd say that light tankers are one of the most alright sets of cats. Tankers and light tankers earlier in the game are incredible, but later on, especially where I'm at, which is the start of Uncanny Legends, the usage is quickly becoming less useful. In short, I would suggest these cats for more general usage than anything else. Ending off the video with a verse that I like, Matthew 26:34. I tell you the truth, Jesus answered, this very night before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. And then Peter is like, no I won't. And then he does it, which is really funny. Subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment to support my Battle Cats endeavors, and maybe my PvZ and Terraria ones too. Bye bye.